Hey guys, Sunstreaker Wozza here, and welcome back to another Thursday live stream where, yes, as always, covering the most up-to-date, the most important Transformers Earth Wars news, tactics, bits and bobs, everything Transformers Earth Wars. So, big thank you to everyone that's joined me today, but just want to say, guys, you know, we're trying to hit that 7k subs. So if you're not subscribed already, guys, hit that subscribe button right now and sub to the channel to never miss another stream, another video, or anything. So obviously a big shout out to my members who sort of pay to be a member and sort of, you know, help me keep doing what I'm doing. But obviously subscribing, it costs literally nothing, guys. Literally, it's just a click of a button. Just to let you know that I've done a video, done a stream, just so you never miss it, guys. So if you're not subscribed already, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys. Let's try and get to 7k subs. So in today's stream, I mean, it's obvious we're talking about Ruination. It's going to be a big talking point today on what I think of it, whether I think it's worth it or not, whether I think the cost is you know, relevant in today's, you know, economy, things like that. We're going to obviously taking a look at him, sort of looking at what they've tried to do with it, whether they succeeded or not. Then we're going to talk a bit about behind the scenes, sort of what's happening, and sort of ask some questions about that and why maybe it's happening. Then we're going to be taking a last look at Ability 11s that came out, talking a bit about playtest and about what's happened in playtest as well. And then we're going to be talking a bit about maybe a new meta that I think might be coming to the game. It's already there, but I think it could be really prevalent coming soon. It's something that, you know, I've been sort of toying with the game, quite bored because I've not had much to level really, and it's kind of worked a bit but then got a bit silly. So I was trying something out the other day and I thought, you know what, I think I'm onto something here. And I think some people will look at that and go, well, we kind of know about that already. But when you really think about it, you think, I've not thought about that as much as maybe I should have. So we're talking a bit about that as well. But for the time being, as always, let's have a look who we've got in my chat. So obviously a big shout out to Trax Penny Lancaster, who was first. Michael Cooper. We've got Erods, Ricky Lau. So that's Trax, Michael Cooper, Erods, Ricky Lau, DDEX76. You five guys will be in first in the chat. Being here super early. You can all have a Sunstreaker, Wozza, Stash, Crystal. So big thank you for joining, guys. Then we've got CM. You okay? Yeah, no, it's not Chris Lewis. I was thinking about, is that Chris Lewis? No, it's not. But CML UK, thanks for being a member, much appreciated. Obviously DDEX76 and Trax Penn Lancaster, of course, who's been a member for a long time now. As you can see there, a member for over a year for Trax Penn Lancaster. So big thank you. Dojak as well, been a member for over a year. Big thank you to you as well. Then we've got Shani523, good friend of mine. We've got Osvaldo Rojo as well. We've got I Am TFC. We've got Chip Cox. We've got William Wilkinson. We've got Lou Mega. We've got Daddy Pig. Good to see you as well. We've got Andrew Stevenson. Well, good night. Good morning for you. Maybe good night for me. My obviously good friend grind time. Is that my good time grind friend? My good friend grind time as well, who's been a member for over 3 years. Wow, big thank you, brother. Big thank you. We've got as well MD Prime, long time subscriber as well. Volcanicus #1. See you regular in the streams. We've got E84, first time in the stream, I presume. But yeah, good to see you. Thanks for joining, buddy. Thanks for being a member as well. I've got my good friend Candyman, of course, as a member. We've got, who else? We've got Carnage McIte, Jamie Carpenter, who's been a long time subscriber. Yeah, a bit of a new member, but I've known Jamie for quite a while now. Blade 19, who we see regular in Freezy stream. Talk a bit about that later on as well. Fogs the Bomb, good to see you as well. We've got Tony B, good friend of mine as well. Who else? Joseph Trillo. And he's changing emojis to, is it, who is it now? Who is that singer? It's not Jose Trillo, obviously, but it sounds like it, whatever it's called. He needs to change your emojis, something like that. Just for the hell of it. Cyber Inferno, long time member, over a year. Good to see you as well, mate. Alpha Tryon 1 as well. Thank you for joining. Jason Rowley. And I think that is everyone. If I missed anyone, I apologise. And tracks, yeah, if you want to give it to MD Prime, that is fine. I don't mind. MD Prime, hit me up, no problem. Yes, Jason Cirillo. That's what it is. Yes, that's what it is. Yeah, Jason Cirillo. I don't know what emoji you're gonna put for that. I hate to think, but yeah. So I mean, a lot of talk in the chat. I'm sure everyone's here to hear me rant about Ruination. So we'll get into the newsletter, and you know what? My ad revenue has gone down a bit because I don't put ads in my streams. I keep forgetting. So I've written in big letters, don't forget your ads. So obviously in between my newsletter, my breaks and things like that, I'm going to put an ad in. So we'll stick an ad in now. And then, yeah, we'll crack on with the stream. And if you get an ad, great. If not, nah. Okay, so let's just move this camera a bit so you can actually see my head right. It's cut off. There we go. Cool. So yeah, dead quick as well. You might notice for those that are a bit eagle-eyed. Just do this a minute. Actually got a new gaming chair. I think I mentioned in my other stream that literally broke my gaming chair. I had it for like 3 years. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to actually buy a comfy chair. And I didn't realise how uncomfy the old chair was until I bought a new chair. So it's, what's it called? It's a Simino chair off Amazon. It's actually pretty good, guys. Honestly, I'm not like paid to. It's not a paid thing, going like that. But you know, I sort of took a bit of time, sort of deciding on my chair and looked at different ones. I was like, you know what? Out of everything, I just want a comfy seat. That's what I really want, and it is actually pretty good, guys. It's like about $180 on Amazon, but it is like the comfiest chair I've had, so it's pretty good. So yeah, I do recommend it. Not that I'm plugging it, not that it's like a paid promotion or anything like that. I'm literally just giving them kudos for making a good chair, where credit's due. But anyway, so this week's event is Fire with Fire, which is a bit weird considering it's mostly about Ruination. It's nothing to do with fire, but hey. So wow, it's just been our super duper anniversary event that we broke. And it had quite a few issues. Yes, you did. But now it's all cleared up, as always. But yes, they've got rid of the leaderboard. That was a big talking point as well. They announced this sort of 1 million event leaderboard, and everyone was like, we do not want this. And I even said to Dale back then when he said, like, we're thinking about doing a leaderboard, I was like, I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, massive backlash, and now they've dropped it. But we'll talk a bit about that in a minute as well. But this weekend's event now is an individual totalizer, just 10k points, plus endless tiers to farm XP. It's just for prime shards, so if you haven't got your defensive prime cores yet, then I recommend completing this event. It's a good event to do. If you haven't got even your bot prime cores, then I definitely recommend doing this event. Don't forget, guys, that these prime cores, especially on the bot ones, for lower players, for newer players, even the top players are still using them to this day. They literally are the pinnacle of the game, and pretty much always will be. There's not many G1 cores that you could say are better than a prime core, and you got to think that a prime core is interchangeable, so that prime core will always be relevant on some bot. So I really recommend that you get these prime cores. It's a really important event, and I'm glad that it's still at 10k. For a while they tried pushing it to like 30, 40k events, and we all complained, saying, no, listen, it's not really fair. So really good event for newer players, and really good event for other players to catch up. Usual battle zones, usual points, game updates and information. So we talked last week about the new bots, the Tasmania Kid. I thought, you know, it's called Tasmania Kid, but Tasmania and Antagony. And the Alpha Swipe perform a giant claw pincer strike that deals X damage over X seconds, with the element cycling through electric each time. I don't know. I like the fact that the word cycling in there. It might mean something different. They did say they're going to try something new with these bots, which I am pleased about. But that worries me that it's not going to work. I hope so. But for me, if it's cycling, it's cycling through electric. Now, if it did electric damage, then acid damage, then fire damage, that means that it needs to be cheap and spammable. Because if it's 4 plus 2, say, and you want to get to acid, and acid's the third one, then you've got to spend 4 plus 6 plus 8 to get there. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That's the key word there is cycling to me. So I'm just sort of guessing. I've not tried this bot yet. But the key word is cycling. That's element cycling. So it needs to be spammable. But that because it's spammable, it means it's going to be low damage probably. So will it maybe be some support in some way? It is interesting where they're going with it. I'll give them that. But it's all again about, you know, what combat. I imagine range combat. I imagine it's going to be a lot like Cheeto in that sense, and Beast Wars Prowl. So imagine range combats. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm not completely sold by it yet, but I'm intrigued. I'm not looking going, well, we've already got that somewhere else. It's going to be a copy and paste. It does sound something a bit fresh, so we'll have to wait and see. Just a bit of bile there, just saying Tasmanian Kid's a bit of a joke, things like that. An Antagony. So new ability 11s, which we'll obviously be looking at, but bigger explosion for Optimus. Scattershot is basically healing. Silverbolt and Thundercracker. The EMP missile now bounces to 1 additional target. There was some confusion in test, but it said 2. But again, we'll talk about that. I always think Crankcase, range increase, we'll talk about that. Slingshot and Acid Storm have changed a bit. There's a bit of confusion around it, and it just changed. Again, we'll talk a bit about that as well. And then they've talked obviously about releasing the 5-star combiners today, and again, we'll talk a bit about that later as well. Obviously, go and check out all your official and non-official content creators, but obviously especially Engineer Hoyas, Freezers Max, Soul, and myself. And don't forget to sub. Mention it again. Make sure you hit that sub button, guys. And don't forget, if you actually sub during the stream, you actually get a nice little woo. Just saying. And then the event Saga schedule. So, we've got a Prime Core Shard event. Now, I presume that what they've done is they've moved next week's event to this week to get rid of the leaderboard. It'd be a bit silly to have 2 Prime Core Shards events back to back. So, it worries me. Now, what worries me as well is that when we were up to week 5, all the last 3 events were all to be determined. I don't think even they were sure. And I don't understand the planning behind that. Surely, when they bring the Saga out of 8 weeks, they go, right, listen, we're doing X, Y, and Z this month. That's what we're doing. And I understand they've swapped the Endurance out and got rid of, not the Endurance, the leaderboard, and replaced it. But you can't have 2 Prime Core Shards event. Come on, start thinking outside the box. And this is where we sort of talk about a new event structure. And leaderboards aren't the answer. They're not the answer. But we do need some sort of new content. You know, we've spoke about new war content, new event content, different types of events. And there's plenty of people out there that have some pretty good ideas. You know, we've got a massive, pool of players that are all willing to put ideas forwards. But from what I've gathered is SpaceX looking to bring someone in that sort of specialises in events and specialises in these sort of things, and get them in to sort of refresh it up and give us a new event. My only worry is, will it be a bit too little, a bit too late? You know, we've wanted this war rework and this new events for the last year, and the fact that they're trying to get someone in now, and they're trying to get someone in, then they've got to get in and settled, and then get used to their systems, the way they work, and then they've got to develop it. We're probably talking another year, which is probably too late, maybe. Then community corner, some interesting drawings and sketches, bug fixes and improvements. So apparently there was a bug where Ratchet and Hook were healing the floor. So I know that there's a bug where the healers run off, but sometimes I always thought that was because he was trying to heal a bot and use the ability, and it had no one to heal, so they go on attack and defense. But that actually happens when you've got 2 or 3 or 4 bots on the field, not using their abilities, and the healer will sometimes run off. So at first I thought they were referring to that, but apparently not. Instead of investigating lower league wars and see if they can make them easier. And if you go back, I'm talking maybe 3 years ago, and I said this then, and I still stand by it. And I said that the problem with this game is that you can become a max level high HQ yourself, but unable to beat a max level HQ. So for me, it's too easy to max a HQ. I know some people are going to go, "What's that's mental? It's madness. Takes so long." Things like that. Granted, but it's a lot easier to max your base than it is to max a team out. And so there's people with a HQ 18 who can't even beat a HQ 18. And even then, there's even players that are, top level players that are dropping down into, lower leagues. And it's almost impossible for lower players to actually get by those, by defenses and by them HQs. And I've always said it's a big problem, but I don't even know how they can fix it. But it is a problem, For me, if you're a max HQ, you should be able to take down a max HQ. And however they do that, it's up to them. I think it should be D-Bus, but that's confusing as well, because if you're in whatever league, say Silver League, and you beat a HQ 18 with a certain tactic, and you go, "Oh, I can do that." Let's just pick a bot. Let's just say SG Jetfire in Silver can take out a HQ 18 with 4 hits of his ability. I don't know if he can or not. I'm just guessing, but I'm making a point. Let's just say he can. Then they go to Gold League, and he tries that and goes, "But it doesn't work now. Why does it not work?" Because the HP increases as you go up in war levels, and it's not very clear to newer players. And so I think that can be a bit confusing. But, I mean, has it worked already? I don't know. If you're a low-level player in one of the lower leagues, let me know. I know that HQ 18s... don't work and are quite hard, but do you all know how much it goes up by for each war league you go up? Do you know the HP and DPS of all the defenses? Is it really apparent to you? Did you even know that? So yeah, let me know in the chat to me. And the next stream will be on the 19th of June, which is in 2 weeks time. I'm sure they'll probably be showing the bots then in time for the endurance. But again, we'll talk a bit about that in a minute. Cool. So let's have a look at the chat and see what everyone's talking about. Grind time. No ad for me. I'm ad free. Some get the ad, some don't. Track Play Lancaster. I actually already got the ad. Strange. Yeah, some will get it, some not. Ninja Squirrels put, "What a mess." I'll change the word for you. The anniversary was one job. One job is all they had. Every other event awards prompts bar main award. Yeah, well, yeah. I get it. I agree. Mario Zambiano's put, "It's not good at Space Ape HQ." Again, we'll talk a bit about that shortly. Eddie, well, this is a good talking point. Eddie's put, "G1 cores should be better than Prime cores. They're harder to earn." Part of me sort of thinks that, part of me thinks new content. We had to talk about this in playtest when I was in there. Part of me thinks new content should always be better than older content. So if you've got Alchemist core, say, on whatever bot, then the new core should be better than Alchemist. But then some people, and listen, I'm not saying they're wrong, but some people said, "Well, no, Prime cores should be the pinnacle of the game because they're Prime cores." I was like, well, I kind of agree with that, but the problem there is that once you've got these cores that were out 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that, you can't surpass that then. You're sort of stuck at a stumbling block of that's the maximum you can go to. So, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm not either way. I'm not saying, yeah, G1 cores should be better than Prime cores, and I'm also not saying Prime cores should be the pinnacle. I understand both sides of the argument. But yeah, I understand the way you're thinking about it. Simon Furnos put always wanted the antagonist figure from BotCon back in the day. I'm not a big Beast Wars fan. I've made no bones about it. Jamie Carpenter, what's your thoughts on the Nexus Defense Core? It's first thing I look at dealing with now. I think it can be quite important, especially people running Ruination. Yeah, it's something else to think about. It's not really been too much in Wars right now to really sort of say. It's quite hard to judge how effective it is because you don't really notice. It sounds a bit weird, but you don't really notice it, if that makes sense. I presume if you tapped a base and then took it away, you'd know, but it doesn't. It doesn't show you anything apparent. It's like it does damage to your box, and you can see that damage. But yeah, I mean, anything that obviously makes your combiner that much better, then yeah, it's definitely obviously important. Hellraiser has brought up the shards for Ruin, which we're going to talk about again. I'm at TFC's put Nexus could potentially change what combiner is used for defense beacon. I like it just for that. Everything else, yeah, I don't mind the core. Yeah, it's a good core. Yeah, Simon Fernald's put it's a good core. Yeah, I think it was balanced well. What else? Sunstrike's put hot take. I kind of like the back-to-back PC event. Yeah, I understand it. It's a good opportunity for players, but if they want to give 5k shards away in 2 weeks, why not just do one 20k event and give 5k away rather than a 10k event for 2.5 and then another event for another 2.5 maybe? Just do one 20k event for 5. You want to give 5k away, but they don't. So why do 2? I don't know. Backwards Entertainment's put they've no clue what they're doing. It's very clear when they make the new combine need all the bots, and yeah, again we're going to talk a bit about that. Trax has put we're going to be drunk by the end of the stream. Well, I'm sure someone's he's put something in there, but I'll bet something. That's probably why. That's something. Yeah, it's probably something I've said. Let's have a look. What else? Transformers IP is main factor. Game still going. Let's not get it twisted. But with so many new stellar game software enabled now, not money and numbers, lowering way to late to try and make changes. Too repetitive, in my opinion. Yeah, they do need something new into the game, definitely. Traxpad Lanka spot Nexus is huge in Prime League hard mode. In Asylum, we are noticing all defenses do damage and it melts a combiner if it's on the field. Good. And the boost the enemy combiner is noticeable. Good. Jimmy mental. What's mental? Oh, unless you're thinking I'm going to say mental. Maybe. Alf Transport had to go through the whole batch, but finally got pipes. Well done. Good. They need some core in combat. Some go Liege for hacking. Some go Megatronus to mix with the acid. Some will go Micronus. There's a few different options, but I'd definitely say a prime core at the minute. But I do believe that the 8s are probably going to bring out a G1 core for pipes. Now, that's not for sure. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. But Yanis did say that there's a lot of bots that are really highly used that don't have G1 core. Want to focus on them. So I imagine they're talking the likes of 6-gun pipes, Minerva, bots like that. You know, I imagine they're going to sort of come, you know, sea spray. You know, bots that are highly used. And in terms of combat, I would say Bash Breaker. Who else? I like Bash Breaker, to be honest with you. Yeah, anything like that, really. Eddie, will they make it easy to get specific 5-star bots for this 5-star binder? No, they won't. Sadly, not. They're available in endurance events, and they will literally say, well, you knew this 5-star combiner was coming. If you wanted the 5-star bots without going for the batches, you should have done the endurances. That is exactly what they'll say. And sadly, they are available in batches. So, no. And we have had sort of a year you know, to sort of save up for it. But, you know, sometimes this end game content is not available to everyone, whether you agree or not. Listen, I'm not for 1 minute saying this is right, but sometimes end game content is only available to end game players. That's the way these games are, sadly. Mario Zambiano's put, I'm told after Fabian left, the other guy, I'm not Optimus, Vivian. Vivek, sorry, not Vivian. Vivian? Vivek left. This led to them hiring an intern Goof full time, and it's not gone down well at all. I'm not too sure about that, but I also hear that Goof doesn't like Dale being in the dev team, as he wants full control, and Dale doesn't trust him. It's caused a rift. Dale will leave. Watch this space. No, I don't think Dale will leave. Not 1 minute. I don't think that. I don't think that's true at all. Cool. Trackpen Lancaster put, the only thing with Bash Breaker, the only melee combats is they make the extra swing match buzz strike of 6 seconds waiting 10 to 12 for the acid bullets or whatever. Yeah, I don't put it on there to rely on it. It's not, sadly though, that's my problem with combats, is that they're not reliable, but it's a nice little perk. I don't have it for that. I look at, you know, things like anti-hack or anti-heal, you know, anything like that. Something is permanent. I look for that and the increase in DPS and all that, and anything else is just a little bonus extra, really. I am TFC has put, but 5-star Ruins isn't endgame, is it? It's barely a 4-star extension. Well, no, it is endgame. Whether it's relevant endgame, but it is supposed to be endgame. And again, I'm talking from a Space 8 point of view there. I'm not talking from my point of view. I'm just saying that it is, I would say 5-star combiners are, you know, the pinnacle of the combiners in the game. And so I would say 5-star combiners, that's why they've got the highest cost in the game, because they are, you know, end game content. I would say 5-star bots are end game content, 5-star combats, captain ranks are all end game content. So yeah. Cool. Right, okay, let's get into the game and we can have a bit of a chat before we've put in a advert. Cool, so as always, we are on the test server. So, first off, let's get into it. Let's not wait any longer. Let's get into 5-star Ruination. So, for those that have been under a rock somewhere, let's have a quick look at what we're looking at. Into Combiner Lab. So, we've got 5-star Ruination there. So, the 5-star Ruination ability. The Combiner summons holograms of World, Robust, and Twin Twist to perform their abilities. Their HP being 20% of the Combiners and the DPS being 25%. And gain an extra 10% on both HP and DPS when Combiners on defense. So, first off, I'm going to refer you to something. A little, this one. So, looking at this. So, this was posted as one of the notes in one of the streams. So, it says, 5-star Ruination, when, what, who? Because everyone's obviously asking about it. So, they put, it's coming this quarter. So, I think this was done in like January, February, something like that, maybe. The ability's been made. It'll be going into playtest sooner rather than later. The 5-star might become a defensive option. We'll share more info on this once we have more info. So, the problem is that I think they looked at Ruination and said, right, okay, we've got a combiner here, it's the best in the game, we can't make it any better on attack. What we can do is make it an option to be in an outpost. Now, I was quite critical of this maybe a couple of streams ago, and sort of said, why would you want the best combiner in the game in an outpost? And then I sort of, after they sort of released this 5-star batch and announced who's in it, and I started to think in the future of other combiners, and I thought, well, I think they're going to buff the combiners, and when they do, Ruination might be on par with other combiners in the game. So I kind of understand wanting to make Ruination a defensive option. I understand that thinking. I understand they don't want to make him any better on offense, but they want to make him a defense option. Right. Brilliant. I'm all on board with that. Great idea. I like the way you're thinking there, so you don't make him too good on offense. But as always, I think they have some good ideas, Space Ape, but it's always badly executed when they actually do it. And I think this is Dale's frustration sometimes, is that he can see that the community, it's hard sometimes because the devs deal with playtest and then they kind of like hide away then, and then Dale has to deal with everything else. And no doubt it can be frustrating when we're doing playtests, releasing content, and you've got players and content creators and playtesters all saying, listen, this needs to happen. This is a problem. This keeps happening. And then Dale's going back to the team and going, listen, they're not happy with this. This needs to happen. And the team are basically saying like, well, okay, or no, or whatever. And then Dale then has got to come back and then sort of answer for that, sadly. And because he's the community manager now, don't get me wrong, that is Dale's job, sadly. And he has sort of, picked that role in Space Ape to deal with the community. But I can imagine it can be hard, when you see things going wrong behind the scenes, because they've tried developing this as a defensive option, and they kind of have. But the problem is the way they've gone about it is it's become a better offensive option, which I don't think they wanted. I think the route they've gone is pretty awful. And so when I look at this and I think the HP is 20%, which is pretty woeful. We looked at it a few streams ago. But it says gain an extra 10% on both HP and DPS when the combiner's on defense. Now, don't forget, the combiner's already neutered on defense already. So when you look at the... it's got 100% DPS but 50% HP. So if your combiner's got 50% HP... then take another look. So he's now got 50k health, or 55k, thereabouts. He's still got full damage, but 55k health. So all of a sudden, these bots at 20% health have, let's go 30% on defense. On 30%, it's an extra 10%. 30% of that, you're talking 15k, 20, yeah, 17k each. It's not a lot. 17k. Now, when you talk about Whirl, 17k, that's standardish sort of, standardish sort of health. But when you've got Twin Twist and Roadbuster on 17k, it's like having a 3-star Roadbuster and a 3-star Twin Twist on defense. It's not going to do enough. Now, if they had gone, their HP is just 20% on attack, but it's triple that, or even more, or 100% when on defense, then I'd be like, well, that is a defensive option. It's not very good on attack. But they've sort of done it on attack and then sort of, instead of going, okay, we'll put it into attack, but we're going to go all in defense, they sort of just tip their toe in the water and going, oh, we'll give it 10%. And it's just not enough. There's not enough to make it a defensive option. And so sadly, no one is going to use this on defense. I can't see it really. Not at the minute. How good Ruination is compared to other combiners. Eventually, maybe, but not at the minute. And I think that's where the problem lies, and that's the frustration from the playtesters. And I think the problem as well is that the playtesters said in the chat, listen, this is not good enough. It doesn't work. All it's done is made Ruination better on offense. And not even that much, really. Only minimal, but it has. That's exactly what it does. And then playtest went dead. Went quiet, radio silence. A few people kept nipping in going, so where are we up to with Ruination? Nothing, no answer, no feedback. Then all of a sudden, newsletter comes out, Ruination's out tomorrow. And everyone was like, what? Even the playtests were like, what? Really? So then they're like, okay, well, what's the cost going to be? And I think, I'm pretty sure Dale came out and went, we don't know. I'm like, what? So the day before it's being released, you don't know what the cost is going to be. Surely, and I always say this, surely someone has had a conversation when 5-star Ruination was announced a year ago, because we knew it was coming, or 9 months ago, whatever it was, surely a conversation has happened where it's like, okay, guys, what price is it going to be? What are we going to charge for this? How are we going to do it? And you saw there, you know, that they knew about it well in advance, but leave it to the last day. And it's just this sort of organisation that really kills it for me. It's not even the content, it's the rushing. And then, just to add salt to the wound, they make it. I said they're going to be charging Zen, and I honestly thought it was going to be about 3 million Zen. I'll be honest with you guys, I really did. I thought they're going to make it really difficult, make people Zen farm and play the game. That's honestly what I thought. And I've started doing a bit of Zen farm. I got about 1 million Zen on my live account, I think, or there about 800k something. Because I started doing a bit of Zen farming reluctantly, because I don't really like doing it. But I thought I need to get this Zen. And then they announced today, literally, it's going to be 2,500 5-star shards. Now, when I heard that, I was like, although I don't really like it, I understand it. I understand charging 2,500 5-star shards. But then a couple of people made some good points. So my initial thought, before you sort of jump on me, guys, my initial thought was 2,500 shards. That's only what, 2 or 3 battle passes. You know, that's not too bad a cost. But then someone made a point. Let's talk averages. Just averages, not extremes. I do extremes sometimes. Let's just talk averages. I would say personally, on average, it would take 3 pulls out of a batch to get said bot. Now, talking bots, apologies to all the cons out there, but I'm sure you know the God Neptune bots. But to get Top Spin, to get Roadbuster, Twin Twist, Whirl, and Impactor, let's just say it takes you 3 pulls to get each. 15, 15, 15, 15, and 15 shards. Now, granted, let's not kid ourselves. Some of these bots would have gone and got anyway. Probably Twin Twist, probably Roadbuster, just for the sake of getting them because they were pretty decent back then and they were in that batch anyway. So it's not like all these batches have come out at once. But still, it has cost us shards to get them. So if you're a newer player now, and you wanted to get these bots, and law of averages would say it would cost you around 75,000 5-star shards. And yes, I'm going to say it. That is mental. That is mental. 75,000 5-star shards. I am overflowing with 4-star shards, with prems, and everything. I can't afford that in the next year. And so we talk about endgame content. That's beyond endgame content. And then to add salt to the wound, they go, oh, well, let's make it 77.5. That is madness. Now, if you didn't need these bots, if you only needed 2, say, because we weren't sure at first, I'd be sat there going, this is a snip, guys, 2,500 5-star shards. But you've got to think, does anyone in the chat think that 77,500 5-star shards is worth those hollows? I can't see it. I can't see it. I don't think 7,500 5-star shards is worth any 5-star combiner forever. Now, granted again, we've probably got some of these bots already. It's like when Volcanicus comes out. We've probably got most of the bots. We're probably missing 1 or 2. But I always think about new players. Because new players always want endgame content. And combiners are massive for new players. And they made it so difficult to get for new players. And for new players, getting through them HQs is such a slog. You know, they're never going to get this. They're never going to get 5-star Ruination. Getting the bots. Now, the way that Omega Supreme, I didn't mind too much with the parts. That was quite decent. So you could say, well, some combiners aren't going to be available to new players. Some are, like Omega Supreme. There is that argument. I kind of get that. But I think the worst thing they did, like I said, because it's 75k shards, maybe 50 if you're lucky, but 75k shards average, to add more 5-star shards on, it's a bit nasty. But then, even then I was like, Oh, yeah, well, most people have most of the bots. They did know it was coming. You know, they were available in Endurances. Impact has been out for years. Twin Twist has been out for a couple of years now. So some of these bots, most people will have. But then there was something that really convinced me that this was completely wrong. And this is this. So this is a quote from a stream quite a while ago, maybe a year ago. And Yanis said, and don't forget Yanis is the lead designer in this. But if you're going to have the 5-star bots, then you've already done the hard part. And it is a hard part getting all them. Collecting all the 5-star bots. I agree that is difficult. When we heard that, we were like, wow. But they have given us plenty of fans. So I'm alright with that. I'm alright with us getting the 5-star bots. We know Volcanicus is coming, and we probably know all the rest of the combiners coming. So we can start sort of collecting them now and ticking them off and going through batches if we need to. And looking which combiner bots are in what batches. And he's put, no, there won't be a premium cost. That is straight from the horse's mouth. There will probably be some energon or something, some currency, but no, it's not going to be premium currency to upgrade it. Now, I would even go as far as saying Zen is a premium currency. I would, but it's put like energon there. I think it should cost Zen. I think 300k Zen is alright, it's not too bad. And it's put, you already had the hard part is to collect the 5-star bots, and that's a big ask for a lot of players. So you're not going to have a premium on that. And that was the big one for me, where I was like, this is wrong. It's really wrong. I always say, you don't go back on things like that. Once you've gone out on a limb and said things like that, you've got to stand by that. And so now we're in a predicament of there's some people have gone out and upgraded Ruination. Do they get them shards refunded? Because they've literally said that. Now, me personally, I haven't bothered with it. I'm honest with you. I could go and get Impactor, and I'll talk about it later, but I've not bothered. I don't think it's really worth it. Even the 2,500 shards plus Impactor. It's going to cost me 7,500 5-star shards for Impact. Now, there's another reason for that, which I will tell you shortly. But I'm not sold. For what Ruination gives for that 5-star part, or 5-star upgrade, whatever you call it, I'm not too sold. And it's not a defense option, what they've tried to do. It's too expensive to begin with. They've added salt to the wound. It's not what they planned out to be. So I think this 5-star combiner is pretty much a failure. Now, I know there's people going to do it. I know people are going to upgrade it because it is an upgrade. Minimal. There's people overflowing 5-star shards, and that's fine. I'm not going to criticise people for that. It is a good upgrade. Well, I say a good upgrade. It's an upgrade. It is. But, behind the scenes, you've got to ask, if Yanis is saying that, and then someone else has decided it's going to cost 5-star shards, then who's saying what's going on? Who decides? And it seems to me like they're all working in different parts and not actually conjoined together. They're not working as a whole team. They're all working on different compartments and making different decisions individually on the game. And it's just, I think that's why some things are not working, which again we'll talk about later. But, I get frustrated when we announce these things because, I'd like to be sat here going, listen guys, this is a good reason to spend your 5-star shards. It's a good reason to play the game. All these things we've got going on. New players. Look at this. You want this. You want to do this. Come and play this game. This is where it's going. But instead, I'm sort of sat here saying these sort of negative things. And I know sometimes I get criticised for being negative. It's because I set high standards for not just myself in my own life, but I set high standards for my children. I set high standards for myself, and so I expect other people to have them same standards. And even being guilty of that maybe in my alliances, where I criticise people really for not putting everything in. But, the apes are not putting everything in. They might be putting everything in maybe individually, but as a collective, they're just not putting enough in these things right now. And that's my frustration. We all make mistakes. We all do things, but give yourself enough time, make it achievable, just go and do that. And do what you've set out to do. But yeah, rant over. Honestly. Mental. Having a drink. Let's catch up with the chat. Sunstrike. Just going back to that, but LMAO. G1 pipes. I know. What else? Just people going over, obviously, the premium cost thing. 100% right. Yeah, Berserk's put, I guess I'll stop pulling latest batch if it costs the game to activate. Yeah. So if you have all level 25 max combined, does that make Combiner Spark irrelevant then? Well, I presume so, yeah. Zed Energon and Edigon should have been the cost. No shard of any type, Hellraiser's put. Yeah, probably agree with that, yeah. I love how everyone's having a drink every time that I... And listen, if you're going to put in the chat that you're having a drink, I hope it's not like water. You better be having a drink. Go and take a shot. Drax has put the apes are so disconnected. Maybe. At the bare Trax, but at the bare minimum, if you do the endurance, it costs $300 just for 3 bots. Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, it does. Yeah, you're not wrong. Transport. There's a difference between end game content and game ending content. Oof. Ouch. And track support and Nala uses cost for all new 5-star combiners. Way to go. Yeah. I don't think you can blame an alliance for that. I mean, I'm out of the loop. I've dropped down out of the top alliance at the minute. I've no interest in wars, really. I've no desire for it at the minute. They're monotonous, they're boring, they're over the top, they're unimaginative. Again, don't want to keep ranting, but yeah, we need something fresh. I am TFC's port. Here's a point. If a player feels like they can't realistically attain something, why should they try for it? And if they don't feel like trying, it leads to apathy about the game overall. Yeah, exactly. 100% agree. Black Zarak's put 4-star room was a boom when he was released, but this 5-star's a joke. Yeah, 4-star's still brilliant. 4-star is still the best cut. Listen, go and get 4-star Ruination. Go and get the 4-star bots. Go and get Ruination. Go and level him. Best attacking combiner in the game. You need that combiner. 5-star, not so much. Berserk put 2 or 3 battle passes. Are you kidding? That's 3 months and $30 on top of collecting the bots. It's still achievable in 3 months, so pretty much with events and with the battle pass, it is achievable. Hellraiser's put, I've been here from the start. Volcanicus was never a goal of mine. It took a lot to be in a better spot now, but I've pulled and cleared a lot of dead batches. I don't think it's fair to Dolphins. Yeah. What else? Candyman's put, I can't see myself using 5-star Neptune on defense when he's so good for bot leveling. The 5-star upgrade gave him a slight health boost, so I'm fine with it. Yeah, listen, I've nothing against people that are going to upgrade it. I understand it. But for me, I mean, if you've got all the bots already, 2.5, and I imagine if you've got all the bots already, then you've probably got a good collection of shards already. And so 2.5 is not that much. But Mike Berg's put, what? There's a drinking game in Wozza? When did this start? Is mental the only word? I mean, I didn't make the rules, mate, but apparently so. Shane Clayton, should I use a skip on Attis Storm Build 11? Wait till the end of the stream. Wait till I cover it. Make your own mind up. Mario Zambiano, 5-star batch we'll talk about in a bit as well. 2 more bots on the same batch to get my 5-star God Neptune. Cool. Good, I suppose. Jimmy Campbell put, I give Dale a hard time myself, but I do feel bad. He has to take the brunt of all the bad decisions. Yeah, listen, I give Dale quite a lot of stick, but it's not. I don't give Dale the stick. I talk quite bluntly. I do in real life. I do in my stream. I'm quite honest with people, and I say to people, listen, when I say things, you can trust that I mean it. because I'm quite open and honest. Some people like that, some people don't. But I'm always honest with Dale, and I'm always quite blunt with him. But I think Dale understands that it's coming from a place of frustration that I want the game to improve, and I just hope that he takes that and then passes it on to the agents. Go, listen, this is what they think, and I'm fine with that. Dale is a place to vent for some of us, especially the content creators and the play test, because he's got a direct sort of connection with us. But it's hardly ever directed at Dale. It's more Space Ape as a whole than Dale himself, because he's the representative, sadly. Yeah, Banners and Banners put, I give Dale a hard time. I know it's his job. I think he's just frustrated as all of us. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I do. And that leads on to the next, subject. Let's stick another ad in and then we'll have a chat. And so, if you've got an ad, great. If you haven't, no worries. Go about it. But next up, so we've sort of touched upon it in the last sort of subject, but I wanted to talk about what's happening behind the scenes. And so, a few years ago, I'm talking about when sort of Dale started with Space Ape, so quite a while ago now. I had a conversation when we started, and I said, listen, these are the problems. And I said that, there's not enough communication between playtesters and, and developers in terms of new content. New content is getting delivered to the developers, to the playtesters too late. Content creators, we want to advertise it, but we're getting it too late. So we can't, because we start to advertise it, and by the time it's close to being released, it's changed too much. And then by the time we can cover that and then release it, it's already in the game. New content needs to come out sooner. And Dale sort of took that board, right, okay, like that. And then about a year or two later, he said, right, we're going to try and expand the team. It's like, we're going to invest in it. And that's around the time last year when the new film came out. And we had, Yanis, Hyro, and we had Fabian and Dale. And that was the team, just them 4 people. And Dale said, we need to expand it more, we need to get bigger. And so Dale got Daisy on board. And Daisy was there to sort of help Dale. And then Fabian went to another game for whatever reason he wanted to. And they got Vivek in and Jesse. So they had an extra developer in terms of 2 that plays Fabian. And they had an extra community manager, or not manager, but in to help Dale out. So Dale sort of started pushing into other things, creating content, help create content to help the devs and stuff like that. It's something he was interested in, like war effects, just like sort of little menial things. And then Daisy did the newsletter and bits that Dale used to do and helped to help Dale out. And for the first few months, it started to work a bit. And I think they started to push boundaries. Now, I think Pipes was one of the last things that Fabian did, and probably he started to push boundaries with that. And they kind of gave the playtesters what they wanted, and that's why sometimes I understand where Fabian used to go, well, no, not quite. But then there was also times where the content was pretty awful, and he wouldn't meet us in the middle. And so it was getting a balancing act, or trying to. But with Jesse and Vivek, it started to gain momentum. Now, since around, I'd say since January, don't know what's happened, but Vivek sort of disappeared out of the scene. I don't know if he has left Space Ape, I don't know what's happened, but he's kind of gone away. So that left Jesse, who replaced Fabian. Obviously, we had 2 that replaced him. We've got Yanis, we've got Hyro, and we've got Dale, and we had Daisy. Then Daisy went to another game, and Maro come in. So Dale still had his support. He could do his things. Maro still helped him, but they were struggling dev-wise. So Dale started to get more and more into developing content. He started doing war effects, started doing the legacy bots, which have been quite successful. I think Drift is pretty good. Huffle was alright. I think Cosmos is better now. And they've started to come along well. And I think the reason for that is that there was no pressure on Dale whatsoever. They said to Dale, yeah, have a tinker with it, see what you can do, and then when it comes to being done, they sort of take a look at it and go, that's maybe a bit too much, I wouldn't do that, or whatever, and they overlook Dale. And because that content is sort of slowly being released and there's no rush on it, it's coming out decent and coming out, at a decent level. I've been quite critical that it's not like, proper war material maybe, but I think that was never the aim, just to be more useful. I don't agree with that, but I understand they made that decision, and that's fine. And what they set out to do with them endurance bots, they've done. And they come out pretty decent of all the releases over the last thingy. But I think the problem is that a lot of pressure and a lot of things have been put on Jesse now. And I don't know how good Jesse is. I don't know him personally. I couldn't comment at all. But all I know is that content feels more and more and more rushed. And in playtest, Jesse's not one for having a conversation with people and talking to people about things. And he tends to like surveys. He'll put a survey out and go, please go to the survey. Now, for me, sometimes I look at a survey and it go, does it need more damage? Does it need less? Is it about right? Does it need more range? Does it need this? Is it about right? Very black and white. But sometimes the answer is not black and white. Sometimes the conversation is, well, it needs a bit of that, or this tweaking, or this is the problem with the bot. And it's very hard to do that in a survey. It's black and white going, what would you give it? Sometimes it's like, we just need to increase survivability, whatever that is. And sometimes just adding HP is not the answer. Sometimes it's like, well, you know what? We need a G1 for this bot as well. That is like Alchemist maybe, or something like that. I'm just sort of spurling out. But these are conversations that we used to have in playtest. But although I'm not in playtest, I can still view it. And I get frustrated by the lack of communication. And come the last month or so, communication has literally been zero. To the point where Dale come in playtest and was like, people were saying, what about these ability 11s? And Dale's always said, listen, there's no rush for these ability 11s. There's no rush for them. We want to try and get this new bot sorted. We want to try and get it in the game as early as possible so content creators can cover it, so that it's ready to go, so people know what they're going for in the endurance. The priority is the new content. And I was like, you know what? He's got a point. I'm on board with that. I want these ability 11s out. I really do. I love new content. But the priority is the endurance bots. It really is. I was like, you know what? He's right. It's a good choice. I've complained about this in the past. They're making the right decision here. Then the chat went silent. So the chat went silent in my view because they're developing other stuff in the background and they're looking at the new bots. So the 5-star batch can wait. The ability 11s can wait. It's all good. So no one's really testing the ability 11s. They're not bothering right now because they're like, you know what? We're not really focusing on this. And Dale said, don't focus on that right now. We want to get his new bots out. And then literally, the newsletter comes out. New ability 11s coming out tomorrow. And playtests were like, what? They're not even finished yet. And Dale was like, I thought they were finished, but I didn't know they'd be released tomorrow. And we were like, well, neither did we. And then Jesse was like, yeah, they're finished. And we were like, well, the playtests were like, no, they're not. They're not finished. They need so much work. This is wrong, and that is wrong, and that's not working right. And they were like, oh, right, we didn't know that. We thought because there's no conversation. Then they were done. I was like, no, there's no conversation because you told us to slow down with the content because you want us to slow down releasing that content. So all this stuff in the background that was being put on the back burner was all of a sudden just going, release it. And without going into the details of the ability 11s and things like that, I just feel like the playtesters now just do surveys and discuss things between themselves. And I don't think Jesse actually reads through that chat and goes through it. Whether that's a conscious choice or whether he just doesn't have the time because they're so stretched again. And they talk about recruitment constantly, but you've got to think to yourself, like, why do they keep moving people on from the game? Why do they get people and get a solid team and they go, right, okay, we've got a team for this game. Then they go, let's take them away. Let's take them away. Now, for me, we have a phrase in my works, and it's called Aces in Places. So if you've got someone that's really good at that job, you keep them on that job because you know what? They are going to get you the best results. So I didn't see eye to eye with Fabian, but he was okay at his job. He knew it. I just didn't agree with his vision for the game sometimes. And I think he sort of was too a bit cautious. Whether that's something that's come from above or not, I thought it was a bit cautious, that's all. But when he was moved on, we thought, well, why are you moving Fabian? Why are you moving Fabian on? He's an asset to the game, and they replaced him with two people that don't know the game. Now, I don't know if Jesse's an intern. I don't know. I'm not gonna start, bashing the guy and saying he is or he isn't. I don't know. Yes, he is quite young, but he could be the best intern I've never known. I don't know the guy. I can't really comment, but he doesn't know the game like Fabian did. So they're taking an ace out of it and putting something else in its place. Now, Vivek is supposed to be really good as well. I don't know the guy. Again, I don't know. But they also had Daisy, who was really good. And they took Daisy out and put Meryl in. And I don't know Meryl either. I don't really know Daisy, but I know that they've both done a decent job. But now they took Meryl out. So now Dale is even more stretched. And Dale's now got to go back to his original role and stop even doing the legacy bots, even the water effects. So they're going to even go even worse now and real on the back burner. And they might say, oh yeah, we're getting people in recruiting. Remember last time, it took them 6 to 9 months to recruit. It took them a long time because they presumed they wanted to get the right people in. Which again, is fine, but I don't understand when you need people in, moving people on. And it just seems to me like behind the scenes from Space Ape, this game is low priority on their list. And they're taking people out of this game to subsidize other ones. And I've no doubt as well that they're taking money earned from this game to support other games as well. And so it's quite sad really that they're sort of grinding this game into the ground without the investment. And they've said that morale is going to marketing. And I said to Dale, I said, why are you marketing a game to try and get more players in when currently you can't even keep up with your own schedules and your own content? The first impressions from new players is what playtesters are saying and what content creators are saying and what the community is saying. And you don't want them new players to come in and go, oh yeah, Transformers guy, I want to play this. And they come in and all of a sudden it's, this is a joke, this is ridiculous, why is this happening? Your content creators are on it, complaining constantly about the content and about release dates and about scheduling. Like, oh my god, like, what have I walked into? I don't think I'll play this game. And that's the problem. I said to Dale, you guys need to sort your in-house problems out first. You need to get a stable team in, pull Fabian back if you have to, whatever you need to do. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but you need a stable team in place. You need to have a schedule for the next 6 months rolling. Have it set out. And this is what we're going to do. Week by week. Bang, 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 bang. That's what we're going to do. Yes, you can change it and deviate it slightly, but you've got a plan. It looks like they can't even plan the next 8 weeks. Never mind the like 6 months. But have a plan in place. I don't understand any business that can't look forward. Any business that reacts to trends is going to struggle. You can't react to a trend like that. You need to be proactive. You can't just look and go, oh, right, we'll react to that, but it takes 6 months to react to it. Too late. You need to sort of be able to look forward a bit. And that's kind of the worry, is the scheduling and the time frames that they're giving themselves. It's obviously not enough. Even when they had Fabian, it wasn't enough. So I don't know what's happened in terms of personnel behind the scenes, but whatever it is, it's not a new issue. This has been going on for so long. It's been going on for the last 2 or 3 years. And you know what? If people left the game, maybe Vivek has left, I don't know. If he did, then I kind of go, well, that's not their fault. But taking Daisy away and taking Meryl away is 100% Space Ape's fault. 100%. Because that means that Dale can no longer help Jesse out. I think Dale's frustration, I don't think 1 minute he doesn't like Jesse or they're at each other's throats or anything like that. Not a chance. I can tell by the way they sort of talk about it. But I think they're both frustrated in different respects. I think Jesse, from the sound of things, I'm just guessing, probably frustrated at not having the time that he wants to do things. And then Dale's frustrated that because of that, he's then getting all the flack and the criticism, which he's passing on to Jesse maybe and saying, listen, this is not good enough. And Jesse's probably going, well, what do you want me to do? I haven't got the time to do everything. I can't do it all. I'm short-handed. And I think that's the problem, really, being short-staffed. But it's their own kind of doing. You know, that they stretch themselves too thin. And Giannis once said that they're always going to want more personnel and more people working on the game. But if you run it, and I've had this problem myself, that if you run it really tight, I've done this with my Stefan levels, that I've run it quite tight, then as soon as someone leaves, you're absolutely in dire straits. You can't cover that. And so sometimes you've got to overstaff it slightly just so you've got enough people in case the worst happens. But sadly, Space Ape are not willing to do that. And so, you know, they really need to invest in the personnel and the time it takes. Maybe they need to extend the schedule so it's not 8 weeks, but then they lose money by doing that. Maybe they need to do it 10 weeks. I don't know. But there's definitely something they need to do behind the scenes to solve this problem, because it can't keep going the way it's going. And I said to Dale, I said, sadly, your poor scheduling will be the downfall of this game. That, for me, is the biggest problem. And I can't emphasize that enough. Is that people complain about bugs. You know why there's bugs? Because they're rushing. You know why they're rushing? Because they can't schedule properly, not have the personnel. You know, why Ability 11's been rushed out? Because they can't schedule properly, because they don't have the personnel. If you look at everything wrong with this game, it's because everything is rushed. And why is it rushed? Because they don't have the personnel, and they don't have the good scheduling. And that is the be-all and end-all of everything within this game and the problems. I honestly think if they can sort that out, so they give themselves more time to do things by increasing the personnel, it would solve all the issues. But the big question is, are they willing to invest that much into this game at this stage? Do they really believe that this game can make a step forwards by bringing new players in? And only Space Ape can answer that. Yeah, Traxpay Lancaster support turnover was kind of high with this game and the company. Makes you wonder why. Yeah. Stephen Gomez has done a super chat, so I need to answer this question, obviously. Stephen Gomez put, I saved up for the 5-star Primal Sword and Rust Blaster. Who are the best bots for each? Don't want to slap them on the wrong box. Ooh, let's have a quick gander at who they can be equipped on. And then we can go from there. Oh, no, it's a weapon. I hate this, honestly. Weapons. Primer, Star Saber. Well, I think that you're best off putting it on a bot with high DPS rather than high HP. So you're probably looking at a melee combat, I'd say. Personally, you obviously get a Altus Prime. I mean, if you want, I presume if you wanted high damage, then I would put it on a melee special bot. So if you want the increase in DPS, if you want the strike doing 2.5 of the equipped bot's damage in an area, then put it on a melee special. If you want the Optimus Prime bot to be really good, then put it on a higher HP bot. And this is the problem that I said when I tested this, is that half of it is geared towards a high DPS bot, and the other half is geared towards a high HP bot. And I think that basically you've just got to make a choice on a sliding scale. Something high HP is going to give you some really good damage. Something high DPS gives good damage. Something high HP is going to give you good, the good hollow. Or you can maybe hit the seesaw right in the middle and pick a bot that's got pretty good damage and pretty good health. But for me, I think the likes of Optimus, Rhinox maybe, Roadbuster for the damage, yeah. But I honestly, yeah, plain and simple. If you're going for the damage aspect, go for a melee special. If you're going for the hollow, you want a good hollow, then stick it on a warrior. And that's basically it. Basically, you can't really go wrong with that. Yeah. In terms of Rust Blaster, so because that goes on a ranged bot, I'm pretty sure you're talking acid, fire, and electricity. So I'd basically put it on a ranged bot that gives you some kind of acid or fire or electric. So you're talking slingshot, maybe sea spray, sandstorm, skids, something around that, somewhere around along with elements. I would put the Cosmic Rust Blaster on. But if you're going to use the Cosmic Rust Blaster in your team, take advantage of it by sticking it with Nightstick and with Top Shot, putting all three together and putting them in the same team to take full advantage of the acid and fire, which gives you, I think, 20% more damage. And then you add the Cosmic Rust on top of that. So, yeah, which emphasizes that. So, yeah. Still decent. Decent weapons. Personally, wouldn't buy them in the shop. I think they're expensive. With the 50% off things, then, yeah, not too bad, maybe. It's not disastrous. $50, I think it was. 60. So, maybe, yeah. But, yeah, they're decent. Just make sure you utilize them properly. Transparent Lancaster, they still haven't gotten with me about the toy winning stream. Oh my days. I was saying I got a Marvel snap ad. How funny is that? That I'm here doing a Transformers Earth Wars stream and people are getting Marvel snap ads. Wow. Backwards, but I don't feel like Dale takes it back to the apes. Just trying to fight off their bad decision of fight. Just says it is what it is. When he should go back and mention things like, no, he does. Trust me, he does. Trust me, he does. But he also understands sometimes. I do it. I see a comment sometimes, and I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. So I don't want to call someone out, but someone, I would just say, someone messaged me saying that Dale announced that the 4-star canister, the canisters in the anniversary event, said that it should have 4-star shards in, and I totally agree they should have. I'm on that side. But Dale was sort of saying, listen, well, they decided that you're not getting them. That's not Dale's decision, but they've said, no, it's not happening. And Dale's got to stand by that. Dale's not decided that, they decided that. And someone just said, and Dale sort of said, listen, if you want the full canisters of 4-star shards, then we can take the 5k shards, 5k 5-star shards off you and give you the canisters with the 4-star shards in. And can you believe it? People actually wanted that. And I think you're mad. I don't think they understood what they were asking for. You're losing the 5-star shards, but gaining the canisters with 4-star shards in. Who would want to lose 5-star shards? It's one of the most premium currencies in the game. Don't get it. But someone said, oh, hang on a minute. So by that reckoning, if you can swap your 5-star shards for canisters 4-star in, then surely you can swap your canisters for 5k 5-star shards. No, that's not what he meant. But people started asking for that, and then Dale was like, no, that's not going to happen. I think people got a bit frustrated by that, but he knew that was not going to happen. I knew that was not going to happen. And I sort of said to the person, you're not going to get that. That's not going to happen. You know, and I can see that coming sometimes. It's an example, but I can see that coming sometimes. That people ask for things, and I'm like, that's not going to happen. You're not going to get that. I can tell you that without even talking to Space Ape. So sometimes Dale doesn't need to talk to Space Ape because he knows what they're like. He knows how they operate. He knows their thinking behind it. And he's like, listen, you're not going to get that. I don't even need to go back and ask him because I know they're not going to say yes to that. But he does give all the feedback back, and every time he gets all his stick, he does go back and go, listen, I'm getting a lot of stick for this. So, yeah. I wonder if Dale wants to be a designer. I don't think he does, but I think he wants to help the game. That's his ultimate goal. And, yeah, legacy bots are better than new bots, maybe, but I think the difference is, like I said, that Dale's given the time to do that. And I think he does a lot of it in his free time. Honestly, I do. I think he does a lot of it in his free time. Um, what else? Tracks, but wait, Marilla's gone? Yes, Marilla, well, she's in Earthworld, but she's gone to marketing. So she's no longer in the community as such. So now she's into marketing, trying to get new players in, apparently. Yeah, I am TFC. I said the same thing. Is put, what does this game have for marketing? Exactly. I don't know. Zambiano's put, I would say this, you doubt what I have said, but trust, they've hired a new designer already. When you find out, you know I was right. Maybe, I don't know. Listen, all I'm saying is what I've sort of been told and what I've read between the lines, things like that. I don't know, honestly. I'm not for a minute saying you're wrong. I just said I don't think that's the case. But I could be wrong because I don't know for sure. But, you know. Mario Zambiano's put as well, the thing is, was nothing will change. The only way things will change is if we all turn up on stream and bombard them with, we are not happy with Jesse content, we are not happy, sort it. I think that's unfair, though, to just land it all on Jesse. Listen, I'm not Jesse's biggest fan. I'm pretty sure it's Jesse that got me kicked out of playtest, along with Fabian. But because I was quite frustrated, and yeah, maybe we did talk about out of turn. But you will not see anyone more committed to this game than I've been over the last 10 years. 8 years, whatever it is, 8.5 years. So yeah, 8th anniversary, and I started in months before that, so 8.5 years. You know, you won't find someone that's done more videos than me, played the game as much as me, maybe for as long as me. Not all them things combined. I'm not just bragging, guys. No, but I played this game for 8.5 years, done nearly 1,000 videos or content for Transformers Earth Wars. Been doing it for years. You know, and I think I put more into the content creator than most other people. I think maybe not Engineer Hoist, but maybe. But you know, it comes from a place of just wanting the game to succeed and do well and progress. And I think Jesse just took it personally. So it is what it is. You know, I don't really hold it personal to him, but I think he took it personal. But you know, it was frustration because the content's not good enough. It isn't. You know. We know that, but I don't know if it comes from Jesse or it comes from above. I don't really know. I don't know. Yeah, Candyman's put, I had a manager that went out of her way to try and sack me because I was hitting 100% of my targets every day of the week. I made everyone else look bad, and she didn't like it. That's madness. That's mental. Yeah, well, Kai's back on rights, but we also don't know what higher ups in the company is saying about it either. I think that's a good point. You know, we don't know what's coming from above. You know, Marazambiano, can you do another interview with Dale or Yanis or both? So, I don't mind saying that I was actually offered the chance to do an interview with Yanis. Now, I've been asking for an interview with Yanis for a long, long time. And was sort of refused at every single point. For years. Thought it was really good to get Yanis on the stream. And then Dale kind of offered me the chance. And I said, I'm not too sure. Because I felt like when the game's struggling, when the game had been successful and I was trying to fight to get through YouTube and try and get views and try and get subs and I needed Space 8's help, I feel like they really didn't want to know. And then I felt like they were trying to use my platform to get through to the community. And I was like, well, you have your own stream to do that. But you've whittled it down to one stream every month because you can't bother doing it every week nowadays. Because you probably don't have the time to do it every week. So, you know, like, I felt like they were using me. I felt used. I felt like they were using me to get close to the community. And I wasn't really happy with that. I was like, I do want this interview more than probably anything I want on the channel. But I'm not going to do it for the sake of that you want to use me for that. If Yanis wants to come on my channel because he wants to come on my channel and likes my channel and wants to help me, 100% I will have Yanis on. And you've seen my interviews with Dale. I'm not there to sort of like put him in an awkward place, but I will ask some awkward questions. But they'll also know that awkward questions are coming. I always tell them what I'm going to ask pretty much, apart from what you guys ask. You know, and I'm not there to sort of like, you know, incriminate Yanis or anything like that. But I also felt like, you know, Dale said, oh, you can ask him some technical questions but like what? Every technical questions I've asked Yanis is answered, so there's not much I need to know. It's like, yeah, but the people in your stream might want to know. And I was like, well, I'll tell them most technical stuff. And the things that I don't know probably aren't worth knowing. There's not much out there. Do you know what I mean? Because I've played that game for so long and I've asked Yanis all the questions that I didn't know. Or I've asked Dale and he's gone and found out for me, whatever like that. So, I don't know. It is a possibility. And I'm sure a lot of my people that watch would want it. But personally, for pure... Not pride. I wouldn't say it's pride, but for pure... I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't put a finger on the exact word. But I just don't want to feel like I'm being used. That's kind of what it is. I'd have Dale on, but I just feel like if I had Dale on, I'd be asking questions that everyone knows, and the question would be, why is this like that? Why is that like that? Why is that like that? I don't think Dale can even answer those questions because it's above his pay grade. And those questions are kind of for Yanis. But I also feel like if I got Yanis on the stream, I'd kind of be attacking him. I don't want that either. I don't want to get him on the stream and put him in an awkward position where I'm asking him questions that, you know, he doesn't want to answer. So I don't know. There's a few reasons why I haven't had Yanis on the stream, and I'm on the fence. Again, I'm not sat here going, no, I'd never have Yanis on the stream. I'd love Yanis on the stream more than anything, but I want it for the right reasons. I want Yanis on the stream because he wants to be on the stream. I want Yanis on the stream because he can help me, maybe help the community, maybe get close to the community, but not because he's using my channel and that makes sense. I don't know, maybe it's a mutual thing. I don't know. All I know is that when I do them interviews, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work that goes into it. I've got to sort of prepare all the questions, got to set a time that works for both of us. I've got to record it all, and then I've got to split it all up. And it's normally about 3 or 4 hours of my time because the interviews take about an hour and a half. Because there's so much stuff I want to go through because we don't do them often enough. And it's such hard work sort of splitting them down and cutting them up that it's probably about 7 hours work for 4 or 5 videos when I could just do this stream today and get 3 videos out of it. It's 2 streams and it's a lot less work. So I don't know. It's a lot of work for maybe not a lot of content that would be relevant. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. You guys, let me know what you think. Would you really want Yanis on the stream? And it's not a bashing. It's not a chance to get Yanis on the stream to bash him and put him in a difficult position. But what kind of questions could we ask Yanis, you know, without putting him in a difficult position? The only questions that I want are difficult questions. I don't want to do that. So, you know, although I'm quite frustrated with the guy, I'm not trying to, like, put him in a corner or attack him. Same with Jesse. Listen, I don't agree with a lot of things Jesse doing, but I don't mean ill by the guy. You know, I don't want to put him in an awkward position and make him maybe quit the game or something. You know, I'm just thinking. I'm not saying that I'm going to do that or anything, but you know, I don't want to hurt the guy. You know, I don't want to hurt anyone, not for 1 minute. But there are some questions that need answering. But that's up to them. Yeah, Hellraiser has put they're not increasing the team. They only have a scene developer option open, and that is for the new game modes, the new war things, whatever. That's what they're looking at. Canada has put Ash just for the weekends, 10k event to have total spark crystals and incentive to keep grinding. Yeah, that's something else I've said as well. Have a 10k event and have something afterwards for people to go for. Traxxas put they need to take a Saga off, push back that endurance bot, then you are a Saga ahead. They won't though because they've got a schedule agreed by Hasbro and they lose so much money doing that. There's not a chance they'll do that. That's never going to happen. So we talked about that, didn't we? Like, oh, you pass it on to the apes. It's not going to happen. It was talked before. It's not going to happen, guys. What else? Grind time, yeah, it is pride. Maybe it is. You know, I do take a lot of pride in my channel, and I do put a lot of work and effort into it, and I have done. You know, and you know, maybe could put more into it, but then it'd interfere in my work and my kids, and obviously they're a priority. But literally, my priority literally is my kids, my work, and then YouTube. That literally is my priorities, honestly. And I do try and make a thing of it, but you know, I don't like the idea of people using it. Maybe. Trackpad Lanka support. It would be nice to see Yanis on the stream, maybe live for members. They could compensate you for your time as well to help promote the game in your channel. Kind of a win-win. Um, yeah, basically, I'll give me a few things, but yeah, Dale's been very good to me. I will say that much. Dale's been very, very good to me. He does try and help me a lot, but I also understand that he's stretched. There's a lot of things they could do better that they haven't, and literally years down the line, it's hardly got any closer. But they take baby steps, but they need to take strides. Um, um, Backward Entertainment's put, I would want Yanis on the stream to ask him why he doesn't want to make a change to Z Energy on farming so that we can fight elimination events and have more to do, just play 15 minutes. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Yeah, maybe it is a good idea to get Yanis on and go through the questions, but however, as a put, I think you should do the interview. I think it would be a good learning experience for you and your channel. Yeah, I know all you guys want it, but that's the bit in the back of my mind. I think that I don't want it, but I know you guys want it. So I'm in a sort of predicament of, do I go and do it anyway? Even though I don't want to do it, but I don't know. Granted, I bet your wife would love that priority list. You know, yeah, you know what? Yeah, granted, yeah. You know, but you got to think that, you know, my kids will always be a priority no matter what happens. You know, I do, obviously, and not to put a lot of effort into them, but, you know, they do a lot of activities and things like that. So, you know, my kids are my world, basically. And also my wife part of that, but I'll always put the kids first. But obviously, you also, you know, there's no point putting your all 100% effort into having, you know, kids, and then your career goes away with either. You've got to have a balance of, you know, have a career as well. But anyway, that's into deep stuff. Let's not go there, but yeah. Berserk's put, Yanis believes in gatekeeping content too much and you wouldn't get far. The philosophy of design would be adversarial. Like asking Hyro on and trying to convince him to fix the economy. He just doesn't understand. Yeah. And you'd have bad audio because they have poor equipment. It's not poor equipment, it's poorly set up. That's all it is. They need to set it up right. Honestly, like, and just... It's not... Yeah. But yeah, you're not wrong, though. Cool. Right, okay, let's have a look at this. These ability 11s dead quick. But you know what we're going to do? Going to insert an ad. Okay, let's have a look at get into the game. Oh, wrong one. Hang on. There we go. Cool. Right. So we covered these ability 11s the other week, sort of give a bit of a sneak peek. And as I said earlier, the idea was that these are going to last quite a few weeks and get extended out. And we're going to test them and tweak them and get them right because they were taking their time with them. Great news. I was all on board. We don't want to drag it out for months, but we don't want to rush it either and get it wrong. And that's where it went wrong, is that they did rush it, is that there was plenty more feedback to be given, and they went, yeah, everything's fine. And the problem with that is that we can't see the survey that they put in playtest, so we don't know what people said. Listen, half a playtest, hardly even comment in there. They could just fill out the survey and go, yeah, all looks good. We don't know. And that's the problem with having discussions, is that we don't see who's discussing, who's doing their job in playtest of trying to balance these things and who's not. We just see the conversations. Excuse me. We just see the conversations between all playtesters, which they don't really take much notice of. They go off these surveys. So, the Ability 11s are getting released. That's that. But let's have a look at them. Let's discuss some changes, if anything, and or why they've done things they've done, I think. So, Hoist was the first one. So, has Hoist's ability 11, they increased his casting range. And this sort of set the playtesters off. Because they thought, again, we're taking our time with them not finished yet. And the playtesters all said, no. We didn't want the casting range increased. We wanted the AoE increased. Because when you activate it, it doesn't quite hit all the bots. And to be fair, Jesse was quite adamant that it's not going to change. But I think at the last minute, he sort of said, right, okay, we will increase the range of it a bit. Bit of misunderstanding. Cancel that. So kudos for actually listening at that point there. But again, it shouldn't have got to that point. It should have got to the point where someone come in the chat and gone, listen guys, last chance, do we think he's ready to get signed off? But no one did. So it's just really, really poor communication. Really poor. You know, they say they listen to playtests and all this, but they just want a survey done. It's not the way I don't think it should need to work. But Hoist now, from what I can gather, is they're going to extend the range of the AoE, which I'm quite pleased about. Because in testing, sort of looked at it, I was like, I honestly thought it was a bigger AoE, but I don't really use Hoist. So I looked at it and went, it's quite underwhelming really. I can't really see much, but if you tell me it's just a bit more healing and it's got better range, then fair enough. But no, it was the cast range, which I was a bit confused about as well even. But yeah, I think he has just sort of tweaked that. So that's a good turnaround for Hoist. And then next up we've got Silverbolt. Now, Silverbolt is absolutely woeful. So I had someone hit me. Well, someone that was in the playtest. I don't think I can see playtest, but I'm not in there. And I seen someone put it's only bouncing once. And I looked at the video that he posted of an example. I was like, no, it's bouncing twice. Well, no, it's not bouncing twice. It's hitting and bouncing once. He's like, but that's bouncing once. I was like, yeah, but what they mean is it's bouncing twice. He's like, but that's not bouncing twice. I was like, according to their understanding, it is. And I was like, what? And so we sort of hit him up and said, it's not, you put it bounces twice, but a bounce is when it goes and hits something and bounces. So it's bouncing once. So they've renamed it to drop a bouncing EMP bomb that can hit up to 2 total targets, not 3, which some of the playtesters thought it would eventually. And so that was a bit of confusion, because some of the playtesters were like, hang on, it's supposed to bounce twice, that's 3 targets. And Dale was like, you're not going to get 3 targets for 4 ability points. And he's like, well, that's pretty much what it said. And then it was like, well, no, that's not what we meant. Total confusion. But they settled, no, it's going to do 2 targets. But then the playtesters have come in and gone, but it's hitting walls. And that's a huge problem. No one wants one of these abilities to hit walls. Remember, Braun did that and they fixed it. And the AI's just silenced. They've not even acknowledged that it hits walls and said, yes, we want it to. No, we don't. They've just ignored it. And so we've got an ability 11, or an ability in general, that's countered by any healing. There's quite a bit of healing in the game, whether it's from your Titan, whether it's from Micronus, whether it's from Alchemist, whether it's from healing Billbots. There's quite a lot of healing in the game. Negated. Then you've got the Lightning Rod cores, which negate it as well. And they're semi-prevalent in the game. But you've got so many counters for this. The last thing you need is it also hitting walls and being inconsistent. And so, sadly, you've got a pretty crap core. And you've got a pretty crap ability 11. So, Silverbolt, decent bot. One of the worst G1s in the game, along with one of the worst ability 11s in the game now. And it had a lot of potential. It did. When we sort of started talking about it, it said like, it was confusing. But if you remember back, I'm going back to something in the game which wasn't in the game. Or should have been in the game, I think now. Excuse me, I've got a sore throat, I think. But remember back then, I showcased a bit on my stream. It was I didn't talk about it, but I did show a brief picture of it, and I think some people caught up on it. And his ability level before was that if he destroys the target, he gets the ability point back. I was like, oh, that just makes him cheaper. You know, instead of 4+2, it's 3+2. So his first cost is you hit it. If you destroy it, you get ability point back. So it's 3. So it's then instead of 4, 6, 8, 10, it's if you destroy the target every time, it's 3, 5, 7, 9. That's not too bad. But decided not to go with that and go with this as well. So pretty dreadful. I've got Silverbolt. Is a decent option. The 2 bounce, it makes him just situational. That if you try to take out anything close to the launching pad with walls around, I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't take that chance. If you're trying to backdoor and most of the walls are front loaded, it could maybe be useful. So good for if you backdoor. I think Silverbolt would be a good option. If you don't. And not a lot of people backdoor. It's not a big proportion. So. And to the Slingshot, they've changed it quite a bit. So you're raising Acid Storm, blocking healing, boost damage by firing acid, obviously 15 seconds, and you take off dealing 8,891 damage. So it's increased the damage, obviously, because it's gone to ability 11. But then they've done destroyed enemies, spread the fire to nearby enemies, dealing a quarter of fire damage. So if you kill whatever you're targeting at with Slingshot, you'll do around 2,300 damage in an area as well. And that's pretty good. I was like, that's pretty decent. Now, some people have announced that it's not working right. Some people playtest said it is working. And this is the problem. It's not been signed off. Not everyone has gone, it is working. In certain situations, it might do more damage. It might do less. I don't really know. If I'm honest with you, I didn't do much testing. Because come yesterday, it wasn't a priority. Now, normally when I know these things are sort of coming out and the apes go, listen, we're trying to get this out by the end of the week, I'll start sort of testing it on the Monday and the Tuesday and going through it and really going through the numbers. But with this, it was in the back burner. I was like, okay, I'll just monitor it and see what's going on. And then literally changed the ability to this and gone, it's coming out tomorrow. And I had little time yesterday, if I'm honest with you, to sort of go through this. I will have a quick look at it. But I have done something. There was something I had in the works regardless of this that I had a bit of an idea for, which we're going to talk a bit about shortly. But it seems alright. It seems decent, and we'll go through it in a minute. I just hope that it's actually doing what it should be doing. We'll have a look at it. But just going off what it says on the tin, it's one of the better ability 11s out of this batch. And then we've got Scattershot. Now, I know this is a big talking point on Freeze's stream yesterday. I was actually watching. I did go in the stream to say hello to some people. Some people noticed it, some people didn't. And it was a good point that someone made. And they sort of said, like, you know, Wozza likes damage. Freeze just likes healing. And it's kind of true. Now, if this bot had half decent damage for a decent cost, I'd be all for the healing. I do like a bit of healing. Don't get me wrong, guys. But my view is always that if a defense is not there, it can't do any damage to you. And so you don't need all this healing if you can destroy them. Now, for me, I want to destroy everything, get rid of it, make it an easier life. But it needs to be cost effective. So when you look at 7k, for me, I think for 10 ability points, you should be able to take out a few defenses in an area. A decent area. And once you just pass 10, it starts getting a bit costly. And so for 5 ability points to do 7k damage, you need at least 2 abilities, maybe 3. So if I need another bot on the shuttle to do this damage, I'm taking up 2 spots. So ideally, I want 1 bot to take out 2 or 3 defenses. So when you do 7k damage times 2, it brings it about 14.5k at max. It's not quite enough to take out certain defenses. He struggles in Prime League hard mode. And you've got to think it's 5 plus 2, so that's 12 ability points for like 3 or 4 defenses. Weak defenses. You're talking turrets, you're talking beam lasers, you're talking launchers, which normally as well are not really in range of where a melee bot will be. So he's limited in what he can target and kill for 12 ability points. So you need to combo him with someone else. And people go, well, yeah, that's how you use these bots. But then, all of a sudden, you're using 2 bots for the same thing. Then you need someone else for your build bots. You need someone else to pop outposts. And you've only got certain many spots on the shuttle. So for me, I don't want to have to combo 2 or 3 bots. Ideally, I want to just use 1 for 1 job. And if I'm going to combo for 5 ability points, it's a bit costly, if I'm honest. And I always talk about, and I've talked about this endlessly, that it's reward versus risk. For me, if it's a melee bot, it should have high damage because it's in the firing line and it's going to probably die quite easily. So I don't mind the ability 11 that gives him 25% healing of all damage done. I like the fact you can mix it with Enerax and with Alchemist to give him loads of healing and keep him alive. But why is he on my team? What is the point in putting a bot on my team that has great survivability that does not a lot of damage? Now, he does 800 DPS. I can go and put a gunner on my team that does more DPS than that. So, he's not there for the DPS. If he's there to block damage, I can put a tank in there that does more than him. So I've got a tank that protects better. I've got gunners that defend better. So although I can give him all the survivability in the world, he won't survive as much as a gunner that is cheaper and does more damage. So what is his use? What is his aim? Why put a melee special bot in there? That's the question that I ask all the time of these melee specials. Is why are they there? What is their job? And I've said in the past that I like my tanks to be tanks. That is their job. I don't like sort of hybrids really. I like my tanks to be tanks and protect my team. I like my healers to be healers and heal my team. That is their job. And I like my gunners and jets to do damage. Where do special bots, melee special bots, fit in that, in the scheme of things? If they do high damage, brilliant. But it doesn't do high damage. It does okay damage. Now at lower levels, brilliant. In lower leagues, 7k damage in an area and 3k damage is absolutely monumental. Because once he's doing 6k, he's doing 14k to one and 6k to others. That will take out probably half a base. That's amazing. Not at Prime League hard mode. Once you go up to the higher levels, he really struggles. And you look at him and go, I have better options. Now, don't doubt there's players out there that have just pulled Scattershot and don't have a lot of 5 stars and have started to level him and gone, oh, he stays alive really well. He does quite high damage in lower leagues. Get it. I get it, guys. Brilliant. There's plenty of bots like that. I think a good example of that is Beast Wars Silver Bowl. Really good at lower levels, but struggles to one-shot anything at Prime League hard mode. And so that sort of, when you destroy a target, you get the extra effect, struggles at extra levels. So some bots that are good at lower levels but don't quite make it high levels. And the playtesters have said we just need a bit more damage. A bit more damage. I think if that was 8k damage, I think that'd probably do it. That'd tip it over the edge. And we're sat here going, no, not too much. Now they might bring a G1 core out that makes it over 8k damage. I'm okay with that. Fine, but then you lose the Alchemist core. Do they give him damage and Alchemist? Is that the plan? If that's the plan, fair enough, Space Save. Kudos to you. If you can get this bot doing over 8k acid damage and have healing still, sold. I'm sold on this bot. I will literally sit here and go, all has been forgiven. But we've seen this before with the likes of Snarl, other bots, that they could have just given that bit of increase and go, this will fix this bot and make it viable. And they've gone, nah. And it's not happened. So I'm just worried that's the way it'll go. So for me, I won't invest in this yet. I might further down the road. Not quite yet. When that G1 comes out for this bot, if it has damage and healing, I will be saying to you guys, level this guy, get him used. I'm all for this. Not right now. That's where it's hot starting. And then last off, we've got Optimal Optimus. And this is a good comparison. So again, it's a melee special bot. So we've got Scattershot. There's a 7.5k damage. Then we've now got Optimal Optimus that does 10,650 damage. Now, yes, it's 7 plus 2. It is more costly. But you can use this guy at 10k damage. Use him twice. 7 plus 9 is 16. But you're taking out a huge area for that cost. And I'm not talking 3 defenses. I'm talking 5 or 6 defenses. Especially if it's clustered as well. You're taking a lot more out. Now, yes, Scattershot does stop healing, things like that. But again, why did you stop healing if you're going to destroy it? That's the key point. And again, very similar sort of stats. Take a quick look at Scattershot though. So health 35k, 860 DPS. Look at Optimus, 47k, 946. Now granted, you know, Optimus is a better bot. But the big question playtest was, why can't this guy match the two? Why can't we match Optimus with Scattershot? You know, and you could say you could use both of them in the shuttle. You got 10k and you've got 7.5k and you got 17.5k. But you've got 2 bots in there that are going to take a lot of damage. That's kind of the problem. But in terms of ability 11, so there's a bit of confusion because it doesn't really, when you do the ability 11, it doesn't describe exactly what it does, but it increases the range by 25%, so it's a crazy good range. So I think this bot was already good, especially on defense, borderline on offense, and a lot of people use him. I wasn't quite sure because of melee special, but I think this ability 11 just tips him over that edge, and I think it's just become that bit more viable on attack. And I'm actually debating leveling this guy a bit further. I think it's around 65 at the minute, I think, for me. I'm actually thinking about leveling this guy that bit more in the next endurance event, possibly. So, I think out of all of them, I think that I was going to give him a rate out of 10, but I just think that Optimus, Slingshot is a solid option. I think if you've got them, it's a go for it, guys. You can't really go wrong with them. It's going to improve them. Scattershot, if you like Scattershot and you use him, if you sort of Cybertron him below, yeah, it's probably a viable option. I'd maybe consider it, but there are better option bots out there. If you're a Prime League hard mode player, I wouldn't really bother. I mean, I'm actually a big fan of Scattershot. Out of all these bots in this batch, it's probably my favourite bot. I do like Computron, but not quite sold. Silverball, I wouldn't bother. Hoist, I ain't too sure. But before we sign off, let's have a quick look at Slingshot. So, obviously, again, just showing Slingshot. Is that ability 11 with a EO core and obviously Nightstick. And then we're going to Prime League hard mode, as always, like we do. I know some people criticise, going like, oh, you always show bots at a high level. I just like to show people what it can do. This is where you want to aspire to get to. So let's use Slingshot. So we're going to try and take that build bot out, and we'll see how far the fire spreads. So, in fact, we'll take the Spider-Man out. So you see there, acid comes down, hits the Spider-Man. Is he broken? He's working every day. Lightning Rod Core. 4,100 health. Have I missed something here? Oops. Have they broken Slingshot? Yesterday was working great. Let's just double check. Like, I've not got something wrong here, have I? No, 5-star Slingshot. 8, please don't do this. I hate it when I do this. When I test something one day and go, oh yeah, this worked well, and this is literally built into my next content as well. So if this doesn't work, then I'm pretty... Slingshot. Let's hit the Spider-Man. Is it just Spider-Man? Let's have a look. Have I missed a billbot or something here? Oh, what have they done to Slingshot? Well, story goes that apparently Slingshot was doing more damage than he should. But it looks like they've done something now and it's gone the other way. And I'm just trying to... Have I missed something? There are anti-electric cores. What it looks like the next bit of content I was going to do is not going to happen, I don't think. No, let's do it anyway. Let's do it anyway. I can swap them out. I can change it out. Okay, you get the idea anyway. Okay. Slingshot's broken. Great. I was literally going to go and chase that as a 5-star as well, I thought about. But I presume they'll fix it, but... Frustrating. Okay. Well, no, after this, we'll go for the 5-star batch first. So, 5-star batch... So, let's talk about where they're going with this batch. I mean, we covered it the other week, but there's a few things that they're sort of talking about in playtest and we'll go through. So, Retgar, they haven't got to yet. Again, this is on the back burner, taking the time with it. Dale's really taking his time, bot by bot. First bot was Slug. Now we're on to Grapple. After breaking, it sort of puts one side. And I presume they'll look at Alphatron and Retgar at the end. But Retgar and Alphatron right now are just as they are. I imagine they might get tweaked maybe. Nothing crazy. After breaking, they're keeping it as it is. Some people said it needs to be more viable other than a sack bot. But because he's so highly used as a 4-star in Pranic hard mode, I think the 8s are reluctant to do anything with him other than keeping him on a sack bot. Which I'm kind of fine with. He's got a niche. He does that well. He's got a job. That's his job. So he's pretty much staying as he is with a normal increase. You get like a 10, 12, 15% increase in stats, ability damage, DPS, HP, but very standardized increase because they already know he's a very sought after bot and used bot anyway at 4-star. In terms of Slug, they're really struggling to separate him from Pipes. They can't make him too much better. They can't make him... If they don't make him good enough, it's not better than old content. But Pipes is kind of the pinnacle. We've got a kind of problem like with Ruination where that's the pinnacle they can go to. So they can't go above that with Slug. So they need to make him as relevant as Pipes as they can. But do we want another Pipes? No. So how can we make him as good as Pipes without making another Pipes? And I was thinking about this. I said to Dale, like, good luck with this. Yeah, you can give him fire. You can mix fire with acid. But it's just another Pipes clone with fire. And I thought, what can we do to this bot to make him different? And I had a bit of an idea. And it's based on another bot that I wanted the idea for and was turned down with the idea behind it. So the original idea was for Lightspeed. So I said for Lightspeed, he just needs more damage. So he needs to hit a target, come back and be able to mop up. But didn't do enough damage. And Fabian sort of said, no, that's not what we see the bot doing. My reply was, well, what is he used for? If he's not a cheap cleanup bot, what is he used for? And he said, well, we think he's got enough damage. And I was like, well, I disagree. And I think the proof's in the pudding that no one uses Lightspeed at all, ever. It's crud. Crap. Why not give this a Slug? Make him a bit different than Pipes. So rather than rushing ahead like Pipes was giving the shield, give him the shield still, but have him rush in and return. So rather than rushing in and doing damage, let him rush in, hit the target, put fire in that area, and then rush back out again and then have a shield around your team. Now some people look at that and go, well, that's not as useful as Pipes. No, because he's not. I don't want it to be another Pipes. We don't need another Pipes. We've got Ironhide, which is far too much like Pipes. Let him just rush in, put fire in an area, or like, you know, a bit like Drift. Let him rush in, do a bit of fire damage, and go back out again. Just something a bit different. That's my big ask for Slug. Don't just make him a Pipes clone. We've got Pipes. We've got Ironhide. We don't need another bot of just fire, but exactly the same. It's just kind of boring and a bit unimaginative. And I understand Dale's trying his best to make him different and struggling. That's my answer. I mean, playtesters might not go for it. Let me know what you guys think and be honest about it. But would you rather him rush in and rush out? Is it make him different? Is it make him utilize different? I don't know. You know, I understand you use Pipes to pop outposts. I'm just trying to think a bit outside the box a bit and just think that how can we make this bot still relevant but different without going above Pipes. You know, people have said like give him more of a shield, more of a help. We can't. Pipes is the pinnacle of the game. We can't go past that. So it's either we make him worse than Pipes, we make him on level with Pipes but with fire, or we change the way he does things in some way. but he's still a warrior. He's still that sort of like, you know, frontline tank. So that's the big question, what we can do with Slug, and that's the big question point at the current in playtest. But they're starting to go on to Grapple. And I've put him next to Rook for that reason. That the big conversation is, how can we make Grapple better than Rook? Now, in some respects he is, but there's one respect, a big respect, that will never make him better than Rook. And we'll look at that. So, Grapple, the idea behind Grapple is that they're going to make his mine pop an outpost. That's the big one. Now, place of mine that absorbs 95%. Now, I believe that the mine for the 5-star might be 100%. So that would be pretty decent, so it doesn't die as quick. It attracts nearby defenses and prevents them from healing. That's pretty good. I don't mind that. After 10 seconds or if destroyed, it explodes, dealing 7k damage. I think that's pretty solid. I don't think it needs much change. If it pops outposts, brilliant. I don't think it needs much. You know what I think it needs? It needs a cost reduction. That's the big one that it needs, because it's more expensive than Rook. Now, I just said though, but there's one big difference between Rook and Grapple, and it's not that. It's not that it pops outposts, because I'd rather have him do that. It's more damage, but I don't even think it's that. The big one is survivability, and we come back to that again. That, you know, the fact that Rook's a warrior, is immune to stun, immune to hack, things like that. Not immune to hack, sorry, immune to stun, not immune to hack, sorry, apologies. The fact is immune to, you know, stun. The fact he's got 40k health compared to Grapple's 27k health. So Rook has 30% more health. 30%. That's not a little bit of health, guys. That's 30% more health. Now, Grapple, we talk about the difference between warriors and frontline special bots. And I said frontline special bots need more damage. He's already got that. He's got that with his mine. You know, he's at a place where he probably needs to be. You know, that mine will probably do about 7.5k damage on a 5-star without ability 11 yet. So, you know, I don't think Grapple's a million miles away. If they make it pop outposts, I don't think it's a million miles away, but will that make people use it instead of Rook at 6+3? I don't think it will. I really don't. And we talk about it being better content. So for me, it needs to do more damage. It needs to be cheaper, because the ability needs to be better than Rook's, because Rook has more survivability, so it's a playoff. I'm getting more damage for less survivability. And we talk about the sliding scale all the time, and even they talk about it. So if Rook's up here for health and sort of down there for damage, then there's no point in putting the scale a bit like that. We literally need to balance the scale like that. Let's give Grapple really good damage, because he hasn't got survivability. Because the mine is not, the swing is not like that, but the seesaw, it's like that. It's got, you know, a bit more damage, but a lot less survivability. So let's go like that. Let's really give it some damage and really make it do something decent. Like I said, 100% absorb, percent from healing. Give that 7.5k damage for 4+2. Comparing that to Rook, 4-star, don't forget as well, which is 5+3. I think you've got an option there. I really do. It's cheaper than Rook. It's more accessible. Does more damage. But is he going to last the battle? And I like that sort of playoff. That's the bit that I really like. I like that playoff. So, yeah. We'll have to wait and see what they finish off with this batch. How it finishes off. They are taking their time with it. Don't expect it anytime soon, guys. I don't mind that. It means it's going to come out right, I think. But time will tell, and obviously at the end of it, we'll review it and do a final, review of it all. And I'm hoping that they can give Slug something different, really make Grapple a war team bot, and then maybe do some tweaks to Retguy and Alpha Trion. And I think maybe we might have a half decent batch, because looking at it right now, not completely sold, but we'll have to wait and see, guys, see how it goes. But as always, guys, if you want to keep up to date with these things, hit that subscribe button. Never miss another stream. Never miss another video. And keep up to date with all these little changes and things like that, so you can see when it comes out whether this batch is for you or not. Let's have a look. Yeah, also what Phil said about the explanation of the tooltips is pretty poor, and I agree it is. Trax has put Silver backdoor wise, the ability isn't really useful. I use them not to take out the BB with Water Dome. And the Nexus Core defense, they aren't together, and SA9 works just fine for this. Yeah, okay, fair point. Berserk again with removing the immunities. Well, I don't know. Kind of agree, kind of a don't. I think if they remove the immunities, they need to increase the range of the billbox, I think. But then do they just put them all the billbox at the back of the map? I don't know. Drax, I tried this scatter shot setup with Enerax with Alchemist as well, I presume. I decided to go back to 4-star Buzz Strike. I've always used Alchemist on him. Oh yeah, well Alchemist, yeah. Yeah, Tony B's put everything we said in PT regarding these SA11s and also 5-star Ruin was basically ignored. Kind of agree. Darklands has put Optimal Optimus is awesome and a 5th outpost with SA11. I agree, yeah. The golden disc makes it even better. We'll have a try of it. Drax with 5-star Buzz Drag and Captain, you can get ultimate DPS up to 1,400 max. Wow. Scattershot is only 1,100 max out. Optimal, you won't regret it. Yeah, I'm thinking I won't. I think it's a good choice. Drax Slingshot is still working in game, but tested at SA 10. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's ability 11. Also, what Phil's just put, I literally just use an ability upgrade to make Slingshot ability 11. Then I see that's completely broken. So that appears to be broken in the game as well, sadly. So don't use it for ability 11 because you won't even take out Billbot. Mara Zambiano, I thought they were testing it without the health absorption. I don't know. You probably know more than me, maybe I don't know. Who knows? Spencer, I see you might be able to use Grapple, might be a good replacement for Rogue for another team because I normally like having 4 different teams events. Yeah, fair enough. Atlantis put Dale's doing a batch so we can hope. Yeah, but he's given the time, so yeah. Alright, okay. Last thing, then we'll sign out. It's been a long stream, but I've enjoyed it though. But next off, so a team that I've been thinking about using, not that team. This team. Now look at this team. You think that's a bit of a mismatch, Wozza. You know, you've got warriors, you've got melee specials, you've got gunners, you've got jet triple changer. There's no real synergy to this team. What you want about? But the key factor is that hardly any of these bots are countered by FFDs. Hardly any of these bots are countered by anti-electric cores. Hardly any of these bots are countered by anti-healing cores. Now, these are probably the 3 most utilized cores in the game right now. You could even go as far as saying that none of these bots are, you know, not underutilized, but affect them by the Water Dome core. So the only core that really affects these guys is the anti-acid, anti-fire cores. But no one's really using them right now. Everyone's trying to counter Ruination with the FF or tracks or hot rod or pipes with FFD, trying to counter Sea Spray with the anti-electric cores. Everyone's trying to counter Minerve with the anti-healing cores. So you've got Blaster, and I've set him up with Quintus Traxodon, so he's got some healing. Don't forget that the anti-healing build box don't stop power core healing. Then we've got Rook. So Rook's there as a frontline tank with his G1. Stick it back on him in a minute. And with his G1, he heals himself 3% every 5 seconds. Then we've got Scattershot. Now, literally I just said don't really like Scattershot. But I thought, mix that acid with fire. can see that working a bit. You know, like I said, we talked about these anti-acid, anti-fire cores not being very, you know, high priority in the game. So we've literally given him Enerax, give him Alchemist just to keep him alive. But we're going to mix him up with the likes of Leo Prime. Again, wasn't a fan of this bot on his own, but the fire mixed with the acid, doing, you know, 2k damage to, you know, everything in a massive line for 10 seconds is crazy. So, yeah, survivability is a bit hard, but we've given him healing. We've given Tarax, so it's going to heal a bit. Then we've got Skids. Skids does acid, mixes with fire. You see where this is going. We've given him Top Shot. We've given him more fire. And you know what? He regens his health through his G1. Then we come to the next bot. We've got Slingshot. Obviously, Slingshot not working at the minute, but we'll give him Nightstick. So he's got healing. He's got acid. Again, you see where we're going. We've got Sandstorm. He's kind of our healer a bit. But he's got Nightstick, again, which is acid. Got his Toxic Rush, which is acid. Have to be careful with the shield from the Toxic Rush, because obviously it is countered by FFD. But we're not using him for that. We're using him mainly for that healing ability and for Nightstick with the acid and heal himself. And then lastly, we've got Optimal Optimus, who does fire. He's got Micronus, it's healing. He's got Enerax, which obviously increases healing and increases his health. So we've got loads of healing in there. We've got loads of fire in there. We've got loads of acid in there. Let's give it a go. So I will say that Slingshot was not a big part of the squad, but obviously is there. But I'm going to maybe use acid to give him more fire damage, and hopefully we can see how it goes, and if need be I'll switch him out, but we'll see. So let's put Rook down first. Let's pop this outpost, give them something to aim at. Let's put Blaster down. Again, give them something to aim at, and then we're literally going to drop the rest of them, and we're just going to go for broke. We're literally just going to go mental. So let's put the acid down there. Let's put fire down there along with Skids. Let's go Optimal Optimus up there as well. I'm not going to use... I was going to use Slingshot, but I'm not. Let's use healing in this area here. There we go. Going to heal all these bots. What should we use now? I think we're alright, actually. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually put these on fire up here so we keep the bot going that way. There we go. And you can see there, we've literally just annihilated that area with acid and fire. Now, yes, the combiner's not active, but neither's mine. So, decent excuse. So again here, you can see they're all coming through. Let's pop that outpost with Rock, give them something to aim at. Let's give them all a good heal. Heal them bots. Don't forget Enerax increases their healing. So look at all that damage coming up. Let's use a bit of acid up there. Let's use a bit of fire up there with Leo Prime. Rush it a bit. Granted, we've got FFDs up here, but it doesn't matter because we're literally just going to smash all this out. But I want another Rook Hollow there, just to stop Twin Twist. Let's kill this in, try and kill the Arc. Then we're going to lose Scatter Shot, maybe. Yeah. Don't have a clue what that is going around there. Since get through these combined, these outpost bots now, not combiner bots, sorry. Oh, that's Enerax going around. Alright, cool. And there you go. Base down. So you got to think, we've done that without Ruination, without a combiner. Yes, they haven't got a combiner either. No combiner though. You got to think, no healer in there at all. Didn't have to worry about build bots, which reduces your cost down of just killing that base. And I can really see this sort of being a valid option. And when I go through that team, I just think that I've got Blaster, I've got Rook, I've got Scattershot. Not too keen on, but I have. I've got Skids, I've got Sandstorm, I've got Ultimate Optimus. I can get Slingshot very easily, and that's part of the reason why I haven't pulled from this current batch. Because when we go to this current batch again, and we look at it, I can get Volcanicus by getting Slug. I think Volcanicus will be good. But when we look at what we're doing next batch, we've got Leo Prime, which really goes into the acid and fire meta. Not quite sold on Leo Prime, but in that team, he seems quite vital. And then Blue Streak, I can't speak highly of enough. So I'm inclined to kind of wait for the next batch. And that might be another 6 months away. But the fact of getting Leo Prime and Blue Streak in that batch, and maybe having a fire and acid meta ready to go, kind of makes me want to wait. So a question I've got to ask is, do I want Slug and 5-star Volcanicus, who I think might be pretty decent, and 5-star Ruination, but that'll be my shards gone. Completely gone. Or do I want to wait for these guys? And I've been more inclined to say, wait for these guys. So that's where I'm sort of stood in terms of this 5-star batch. Unless something jumps out at me and like every single bot is pretty good, you know, looking back at it dead quick, After Breaker, I don't really need. I've got the 4-star, does the job anyway. Slug, if he is like Pipes, I've already got. If Grapple's not as good as Rook, I've already got him. I don't really need Wreck-Gar, I've got Minerva. Alpha Trion, not too fussed. So you can see there that for me, this Fire Acid meta, with this batch, the next batch coming up, I'm quite excited for. So if I was you guys, I would kind of wait and see where this next batch comes, when, if it does come. If it does come, then consider setting yourself up for a good Fire and Acid meta that doesn't need any worry about FFDs, don't need any worry about lightning cores, don't need any worry about anti-healing cores, and you can literally just smash a base like that. Well, that's all everyone's saying. KR2K has put greeting from Indonesia. Good to see you, buddy. He's put, wow, 32,000 power. I'm still 10k. Yeah, don't forget, I play this game for a long time. You know, this is a test account, don't get me wrong, but I do have a team around that. But, you know, we've worked hard for these teams over years, so yeah. Sunstreaker, give Sandstorm his healing G1. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, I don't have it on test, that's a problem. But yeah, it's a fair point. It is a good alternative. Berserk's put shards are always better spent on 5-star bots. Yeah, well, it's a hard choice between Omega Supreme and 5-star bots. It was, I'm not gonna lie. Carnage Macaronites, but yeah, I'm waiting for Wild Rider and Blue String to see who else is in the next batch. Yeah. Darklands, I have all 8 of those, so we'll on them. Means that I think being quiet. Trax has put I just tested 4-star Blue Streak. Level 65 in primary hard mode, he's just as viable as his big brother. Okay, I might have to give him a look, maybe. ZB22 just got back playing. What is new? I suggest join my next stream, maybe. Don't ask me then, because it's pretty much at the end of the stream now. Sorry, bud. But yeah, hit the subscribe button. Come and join me next stream. Sort of, I think, what, 2 hours ago? Sort of started the stream, roughly. Whatever time it is for you now, so it's about 2 hours long. It's only about an hour and a half the stream, but we've done a lot of content today. But I stream every Thursday pretty much, do regular videos, so hit that subscribe button and keep up to date with what's happening in the game. You know, I'll cover all the big aspects, all the important news. So I suggest you go and hit the Discord, go and join that. Subscribe to my channel, and you're pretty much up to date then with everything that's happening. So yeah. Berserk put good reco. I don't know what that means, but yeah. I might wait for another 2 batches to come out. Well, yeah, I might. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Cool. Darklands, can you ping me their combat? Oh god, not again. Oh well, it's in the stream anyway. Can you ping me their combat core setup? Well, it's pretty much there in the stream. Just rewind it. Once the stream's done, you can go watch it back and just go through it one by one, and you can pretty much see it. But healing. Concentrate on healing. Make sure you got Quintus in there though as well. Quintus is really important. But you can also put Alpha Trial. I don't think I had Alpha Trial on there. Maybe I did. Don't think I did. That's even good. Even more of a point. So I was there. Put record. Okay, gotcha. ZB just got my Titan today. Yeah, cool. Titans are really important. So yeah, make sure you do level it. And ZB, thanks for subscribing as well. Hence the on the screen. So big thank you. But that is it for this week, guys. So yeah, join me next week. Look out for my regular content. I usually post about 2 videos every single week, pretty much. A lot more videos available to my members, so consider becoming a member if you want to see all my content up to date. I think I've got about 5 or 6 member videos just sat there ready for people to watch. Obviously, like ratings videos, things like that, interviews with the apes, things like that. They will all come to my members first. And then it comes to everyone else a bit later. So yes, you're not missing out on anything, but you're just missing out on getting it now. Gonna be more videos, over the weekend. And yeah, look out for that. So yeah, big shout out to everyone that's tuned in. Big thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave. Nearly at 7k subs. Want to try and hit that ASAP. Big thanks as always to members. Big thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks for watching, everyone, guys. And as always, guys, peace out.